Welcome to another edition of Around the Table with Powerful Women. I'm Wendy Love Edge.
And I'm Joy Caffrey.
And today we have the pleasure of interviewing Tanatra Carr. Tinatra was born in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and she's lived in Fayetteville all of her life. Her daughter Promisee is 8 years old, and Tinatra states that she is the incentive for everything that she's trying to do. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, ladies.
It's great. So I met you in my living room,
That's
actually,
right.
a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
And it was such a pleasure. I'm glad we had an opportunity to do that.
Yes, we had a good conversation.
Because Topher, who I co-host another show with, told me to contact you. He said, "You're doing Around the Table with Powerful Women. You have to contact Tanatra Carr." Nice. So I was very curious.
I love him.
Yeah. And so you used to do co-host a show with him, right?
We used to do a show called Words for the Soul with Tinatra and Topher, and it was centered around poetry. But we had an open forum, and we discussed everything, and we did it for about a year. It was something I love. I enjoyed it. It was something that I decompressed.
Right.
I can say it was in the middle of the week on a Wednesday, and I couldn't wait. I ran to it.
Oh, nice. It's kind of the middle of the week, something to look forward to that kind of, if you find it to be decompressing, it's perfect for midweek, right?
Wednesday, Hump Wednesday.
And so it's centered around poetry, but as you said, you talked about other things. So, and you yourself are a poet.
I do. I write poetry.
Tell me how that started and what form came for you.
It started when I was younger, more so being able to put my emotions and feelings on paper. As as I got older, now I realize exactly what it was, is that I vent with my pen. And I vent with my pen. Yeah. And so with that being said,
I was just going to say, it's so cathartic to write.
Yes.
I think today a lot of people get behind their keyboard. It's a different feel though, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't necessarily use laptop. I like to actually write it down. There's something about the pen and the way that it feels. And once I get started, then I don't stop. But then, sometimes I get my blocks and I can't write anything but a sentence. But once I get it down on paper and I get it the way that I need it to be, then I'll step away from it and then I'll put it on, a Word document. And then I'll step away from it and then I'll come back and look at it again and again, maybe 4, 5, 6 times to make sure that it's all right.
A lot of reiterations.
Well, I want to make sure that the message that I'm trying to convey
is what's
being conveyed. Absolutely.
Words are really important to you.
They are. They mean everything.
I wish more people felt that way. I think people are, kind of laissez-faire with what comes out of their mouth, right? But if you're more careful and choosy, then you're sending a message.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
Right. It sounds like you've kind of honed that idea with your own work.
I'm trying.
So you have so many interesting things to talk about, but I want to move to the nursing, right? Sure. So you went to nursing school to become an LPN.
I did.
And when was that?
Back in 2007. I went to Northeast Technology Center, and that is in Little Kansas, Oklahoma. And it is a self-paced program, so you kind of get through the program as quick as you want to get through the program. Standard maybe is about 11 months. You can get through it as quick as 9 months.
Wow.
And so, yes.
And what made you choose nursing?
I was working as a CNA taking care of people, and I wanted to do more. I think that's something that happens when you jump into the medical field, is once you start, you start somewhere, your foundation, and then you just want to build. And that's what's also taught in the medical field, is always continue your scholarship. So,
right. So you were working as an LPN. What year did you graduate?
I graduated in 2007, April 2007.
2007, right. And you're working as an LPN, and you find that that's not quite enough either.
Not
yeah, right.
It's not enough.
So what did you do about that?
Well, I applied for there's an LP in the BSN program at the University of Arkansas, and I dropped my application for that program. I was accepted. I was the first one that was fully admitted. So
tell me again what kind of
You
program
were the
was
you were the first one.
I was the first one fully admitted to the program.
LPN, what is it?
LPN to BSN program.
To BSN.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am. Mm-hmm.
All right.
And so I'm excited. It's an adventure. We started in the fall. So naturally, when we go through it, we're working out the kinks, but everybody's very receptive. They're very resourceful. They give us the tools that we need to get through the program. And I can't ask for anything more. The instructors are amazing. I could just go on and on. But yeah, and so what I want to do more. Ultimately, my goal is to get a master's so that I can teach. I want to be a nurse educator, and also I want to be a TV personality at night. I want to be your everything in the evening. Your soul sister. Soul sister, soul
I can see you doing that.
sister.
Oh my
You like
gosh.
that?
Yeah.
Soul sister.
I love it.
Yeah.
I like the aliveness and the vitality coming out of you as you say it. And see that
yes.
it makes you come alive.
Yes,
Yeah.
it makes me feel good. So
Yeah.
I love this. I love all of it.
Right. So bringing that, you're such a large personality of so much depth and so much to offer. How do you bring that to your nursing practice?
Ultimately, my sole responsibility is customer service with that patient. And what I do is, there was a lady named Norma Kelsey, whom I love, taught me the rules of engagement, which is you give that person the 2 minutes. Just give them 2 minutes of your time, and that's all they want. Okay? Give them that 2 minutes, and that stuck with me over and over and over again. And so it's all about establishing a rapport with that patient quickly. With me, I can go in and I can look and see that you have on blue shoes, and I'm going to compliment your blue shoes. And then from that point, I'm going to get a smile on your face. That's my game. I want to put a smile on your face from the beginning. I call your name. Is that you? All right, come on back here.
Yeah, right.
I talk to them like
That's
I know
so
them.
It's the
important.
quality. It's
It is.
that's 2 minutes. It's what you put into that 2 minutes.
That's right.
The quality of attention.
It's the bedside manner is so important in nursing. It's so important. I can't stress that enough. And so that's what is important to me. Is to establish that rapport, because guess what? Once I establish that rapport and put a smile on your face, you trust me, and we can get to what it is that I need to do to help you in your visit that day.
Right. People aren't going to explain what they're vulnerable about if they don't trust you.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, and that's, with the patients coming in with their families and the kids and all of that, because you're just not taking care of that patient, you're taking care of everyone. It took me a while to understand that. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm there.
I can
I'm
completely relate to that. Both of my parents are deceased, and my brother actually, and so I've interacted with the health system a lot. I've been called the daughter, not been called by my name, and and I still remember it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you're absolutely right. That 2 minutes that you take means everything to that person, whether it's the patient, the family, whoever it happens to be.
Right.
And so you've chosen to work at the VA hospital.
Yes.
That's not easy either.
It's got its challenges, but that's everywhere. I mean, that's kind of universal. That's just nursing. But it's also very special in the sense that I love taking care of these veterans. I love taking care of the veterans. And I love hearing the experiences. And so, that's what makes work easy, is going and taking care of those patients. That's what that's what I get up for every morning, is to go and take care of those patients, because at the end of the day, the smiles and even just a pat on the back and then just the thank yous is rewarding when I go home and go to sleep at night. And that's all I need. And I keep that here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's uplifting, and I get to deal with that every single day. So you can imagine if I'm having a bad day and I have somebody that, thank you so much for treating me like, I mean, that's amazing.
They feel it, right? Yeah, they know it when you're choosing to see them in their wholeness as a person and not just a number on a chart.
Right.
It's hard in healthcare today. They don't make it easy. I worked for 25 years as an occupational therapist, and numbers became more important than the patient care and the business of it.
Right.
is in front.
And it still is, and it's definitely a number game. And unfortunately, I don't think that will ever change. And so, what do you do?
Well, you bring yourself.
That's right. And that's exactly what I do. So, and give the best of me. And so, with that being said, I feel like I satisfy every single patient that I see, and that's all I can do. That's what's important to me, is taking care of the patient. And everything else, to me, I want to just be oblivious to.
It's hard. If you can keep that focus, though, it means the world to the people that you're caring for, and that is what you're there for, right?
It is. It is.
We started the interview when I received your information, and I noticed that you said that everything that you do is for your daughter, Promise.
Absolutely.
I heard a mama's love.
I know.
That's my heart. That's my love. And Promise saved my life and made me turn my life around. So she's everything to me. And teaching her how to survive in this world means everything, because it's a rough and tough world out there. And just, she's a female, she's a little girl, and I want to raise her to be a strong and independent young lady that doesn't get caught up in the nonsense so much. Kids are going to make their mistakes, but
Sure.
I want her mistakes to be just the small ones. I want to keep her on the path of getting to where she needs to be, and then whenever she's 30, she can do whatever it is she wants to do.
30.
I think by the time she's 30, she'll be self-sufficient enough, and I've taught her everything, so then that way I can just let her fly. I'm just teasing. I just want to teach her how to be a young, independent lady, and I want to show her, and and so I'm trying to give her that structure. She sees me getting up. I cook her breakfast. She goes to school. We come home. We do dinner. We do homework. We do, what I mean? Our recreational activity. We, whatever. We sing. We dance. That's my little. I love her, and so I just want to give her the structure so that she can see also that if you work hard, you can get whatever it is that you want to get. You can achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. You can be whoever it is that you want to be by working hard. And she sees her mother doing that, and she sees her mother blunt, and she sees her mother direct, and she sees that her mother goes very hard for all of the things that I am adamant about. And she sees me fight a bunch of different battles. It's important for her to see her mother doing these things.
Yes.
Accomplishing these things.
Right.
So she can see these things on the wall and said that, my mama.
Yeah, I mean,
that.
as a mother myself of a 29-year-old and a 19-year-old, and they're both, I had 2 boys, I didn't have any girls, so it's a little bit different, actually, but the foundation is so important. That foundation is, when they're teenagers, they're still going to go wild and do crazy things,
They need to do their
And they need to
individuation
do that,
find themselves. Yeah,
Right.
It's part
It
of
helps
natural
to
development. Yeah.
Yeah, it helps. But what I've noticed with my 29-year-old is he really is going back to the foundation.
The values.
The values that are to work hard and be yourself and really love yourself. Those were things that I really tried to instill in both of them, and I am seeing the fruits of that now.
Yeah. I think that's a good topic of talking to what do parents want to instill in their children.
Yes.
Right?
Because it's almost like sometimes as you grow up, people try to strip you from loving yourself.
Oh, yes.
They try to strip you from all of these different things that you just mentioned. I love that you said 29 because you noticed that I said 30.
Sorry.
And then I'll send her out to the world.
Yeah, hold on 1 minute.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, we'll go back there. Flint, you gotta just edit this part.
I love that.
It happens every now and then. We forget to shut the phone off.
I need to shut the other doors too because I've been here
Okay.
Wendy, you just laugh. That's so funny. Oh, it's so good. Oh, this is like almost therapeutic. Like, whoa. Joe, I might go in there and get in her table.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so let's see, where were we?
Mentioning about values.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you said, I think you were starting to say it's good that you're looking at 29. And
I'm
so let's start
glad.
there.
I'm glad that you said the number 29 because I said 30 and then I would send Promisee out into the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because I feel like I've taught her everything that she needs to know by that point, so I love that.
They still, I find when I speak with him, and I don't get to see him or talk to him as much as I would like to. I think girls stay a little closer to home, as a rule. Not every girl,
Right.
And the boys, it's a little bit a different relationship. Although they adore their mother, they always do, right?
They always do. They always
do, right? But I still can hear in his voice when we talk if he's having a difficult time or has a concern, and I tell him something, I can feel him really listening. And I think that your relationship with Promise will be like that as well, because you've taken so much time and care.
Right.
And so she'll want your input even when she's 40 and 50.
Right.
Right.
And I love that. Always call mama, baby.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Always
giving
call
that
mama.
open dialogue. We have 3 children, a daughter, son, and daughter. Our daughters are really independent,
Yeah.
fiercely independent. As I'm reflecting, what are some of the things that we instilled with our children? I think creativity was a big thing. Integrity is a really big thing, and I see them living those things, those truths. And I hear your integrity as you were speaking about your patient care, or also your dedication to the word. Right, when word means so much to you, and you're taking that time to choose, I hear integrity in that. Anyway, I was just reflecting on what values are we throwing out there,
Right.
and are we always conscious about it, or are we living in it? And I hear your choice, I want a role model to promise
Right.
what's possible through hard work, through
Right,
dedication,
absolutely.
through focus.
And that direct dialogue, that's so important to me. We get so wrapped up in social media and texting and, messaging and all of this kind of stuff. I'm the individual that likes to sit down and have this kind of conversation.
Yeah,
I love direct interaction. So with that being said, yes, I want to keep that dialogue where my daughter does call me
Right.
and say, Mama,
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, or mother when she's mad.
Words that they use.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
That's when she means business. What mother? I'm like, oh, so you mean business, right?
And she's 8? Is it?
8.
Mhm, no. 8 going on.
28 is what she said.
28, and I get corrected on a regular basis. So
I just love it that you have all of these things that you're involved with, but your priorities are your daughter and yourself, really, and both of those things should be the priority, but we don't always see that. I think it's hard for people in this society, in this economy, people working 3 jobs, and they might lose their focus on what's most important, So I commend you on that.
Yeah.
thank you so much. I'm going to just touch on that because I was one of those individuals that worked 72 hours a week up until my brother passed away in October 1st of 2018. And that ripped my soul apart. And I saw the way that the ICU nurses took care of him. And so, I gained a great amount of respect for them. But in that moment, I thought, I can't do that anymore. I've got to take time for me and my daughter and life and living and not feeling so confined and isolated. And the Lord's just going to work it out. I'm going to lose the income, but guess what? I'm going to put it in the Lord's hands and just keep trying to move forward. But I can't do that anymore.
Right.
Not for me, not for her. It was not healthy.
And you have this strong spiritual thread that I think the first time I met you,
Really?
you said something. I'm not that familiar as familiar with the Bible, but I recognize the words that you said, but I can't repeat
There's
it.
some aspect of
But
scripture.
if first there was the word, how does that go in the Bible? Or most important is the word. It's something in the Bible, right? And you're living that too.
Trying to.
Yeah.
Now we all have our flaws, but
yes,
it's very important to me to at least go and congregate with the people who have the same beliefs and sing. And it's like going. It's important for me to go to church on Sundays. It's like taking myself to get gas.
Yeah,
It's like
filling
fueling
yourself, right?
how you
fueling myself
recharge.
up. I recharge,
Yeah.
and I am rejuvenated. I love that saying.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, even when I say it, rejuvenated for the week. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And
yeah.
so, I got my tank is full.
Yes.
What
Yeah.
And
other things do you do for self-care?
I don't know. I like to sing.
Yeah.
Self-care, that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if I and it might be weird, but if I've had a bad day, that's good for me to go home and kind of sing and get it out.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I don't know. I like to travel. I like to read. I like to dance. I like to entertain my friends. I like to do anything and everything once.
That's I love that.
I'm interested and fascinated in everything. I can find a dot and just think, wow,
Yeah.
that is the best dot that I've seen. I mean, it takes too much energy to be negative.
Yeah.
And I'd rather smile and try to live my life like that. And that's hard. I mean, I'm not every day, but I want to,
Yeah, I know that feeling though, that you can look at anything and see it as a miracle. Like,
Yes!
oh my God.
Oh my God!
Like,
Look at that dot!
Anything. I was thinking that so many times with my husband, like, isn't it phenomenal being alive? Like, isn't this table like awesome? Like, or anything, it's just like, just think, like, yeah.
Yeah.
I love
just drop into
that.
that.
I love it.
That? Do you do
Do
that?
I do that? I do. I can do that. I don't always. So I'm a really positive person. In fact, there are times when my wife will say, like if someone is speaking not well of a person, I can always find their positives and
Yeah,
the
flip it
silver
around,
lining. For the
right?
most
Yeah,
part,
yeah.
she'll say, "You're making excuses." No, I'm not.
You're reframing and finding
right.
what's good.
I can
Right.
find the positive.
Finding the gem.
And sometimes to a fault, I can do that. But wonderment with the world, I think it was refreshed for me. In 2011, I almost died from a disease, and my whole life changed. So that, like your instance where your
Daughter.
your brother passed,
yeah.
and it kind of like. You realize, life is precious, and life is long. I don't say life is short. Life is long, right? So we might as well be positive and find some wonderment in the world, and minimize the difficulties to our best. That's what I think anyway. I don't know if you can relate to that. It
I
seems
think
like
it's amazing. I think that my universe shifted in a better direction. I'm just as human as everybody else. I'm just as human as anybody else. But I'm trying to work on T. So, and with that being said, I'm working on being a better me. And I see the progression.
That's all you can do is start with yourself. That's all you can do.
Right.
So how would you define success?
I think that success is defined as the richness inside of me. And to me, it doesn't have a value because as long as you're rich internally, as long as you're rich here, I feel like that's what's going to get me through the pearly gates. And so that's what success means to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think people, today oftentimes define success related to money or power or place
Position,
in society, right? And I've never felt that way, actually. Like, I'm always attracted to the people that have a lot going on inside.
All day. I love to deal with all people from different walks of life. Because guess what? That's where you gain the most knowledge. You get to hear other people's experiences.
Yes.
And often I'm misinterpreted to be one way, and I'm probably one of the most laid-back individuals who deals with a lot of different people. I mean, that's just how I was raised, with all different walks of life, from all different walks of life, I should say, which is important.
I think it's important, too.
It's very important.
Yeah, I was raised that way, too. There were all different types of people in and out of my parents' house. All different races, religions, ethnic backgrounds. And I think it was a good education, growing up that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people, even besides like different races and people process differently or have different values. And we're going back to success a second. I was reflecting on it. One, thinking about, what would you want for promise? But the other thing I thought was, I realized one of the ways that maybe I define success in other people is through the twinkle in their eyes. Like if their eyes are smiling, I'm like, who's that person? Like that's a successful person because there's something about that life coming right through their eyes.
Right.
So maybe that, like living that vitality where it shines through the face, like that's success to me.
I like that.
Yeah.
I love that, the twinkle.
The twinkle and the I love that word vitality too.
Yeah.
You have a vitality about you.
You think so?
Oh yes,
Wow.
yes, absolutely.
Now I want to lay down the foundation. I want my daughter to understand that it's important for you to be able to be comfortable, but to never let money.
You have to be able to sustain yourself.
You do.
You know, and money is not bad. It's great to have lots of money,
yeah.
right?
Don't let that define who you are.
There's a difference. If that's the only thing defining your greatness,
Boy,
then
that's
maybe
a
it's
sad
time
world.
to look back a little bit.
It might be lonely.
Yeah,
So sad, right?
I love it, the way you break into song.
Yeah, me
Do you do that at home too?
Yes, I actually have a friend. That's what we would do in conversation. It was on our own little conversations. And so we'd be
just
sitting there
break it.
having a conversation, and then whatever we were talking about, I'd throw out, oh,
I love it. I love
whatever.
it.
My husband also sings a lot around the house, and I always think, you must be happy because you're singing, and he's like, no, singing makes me happy, right? I might be singing because I'm sad, right? Or I might be singing because I'm trying to process my day, right?
Yes.
Right.
And so it's not that the singing is initiated by happiness; it's initiated by life.
Yes.
And
Yes.
But then the
I
act of the
love
singing,
that.
which that was helpful for me
Ooh,
to
and it
understand.
just comes through, and it just.
Yeah.
I like to say sometimes to them I need to hold my hand when I'm singing so they can feel that it's coming from within my soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet they can feel it. So you strike me as someone who's pretty comfortable in your own skin. What can you offer to other women to help them to feel comfortable in their own skin? I think it's something that does come up frequently for women not quite feeling right with themselves, you know?
I think it's them staying true to who it is that they are. Don't let anybody shift that for them. Don't become complacent with somebody who's trying to take that from them, because we become very complacent with, we just do. I'm going to leave it at that, but don't become complacent and just be, stay true to who it is that you are. I know that that's hard to do, but it takes time. It took me a long time to figure out, I was shy. I used to be shy. And then I figured out I had this voice. And I'm like, whoa, say it again. Oh.
But staying true to who you are is a theme that's been running through several of our episodes.
It is, because it's important, because it is. Sometimes we lose ourselves in relationships or whatever the situation might be. I suppressed my feelings for 10 years, a decade out of my life, suppressed who I was, suppressed my feelings for 10 years, a decade out of my life, suppressed my feelings, how I felt about things, couldn't show that I had a brain, had to dummy myself down.
Oh, how many women do that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then once you jump out of that box, Once you jump out of that box, there's no going back, and it's like, oh my gosh, a breath of fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what built, that's from having to deal with all of that madness, and then walking away from that, has turned me into the person that I am right now.
So you've created a way of life where you're choosing what it is and what it looks like.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And what happens if you kind of lose your center? We all do that. We're feeling good, feeling strong, feeling good in our own skin, moving forward. Do you ever have times when you kind of lose your way? Or
Yeah, we all have times when you lose our way. That's that quiet time that I need. I need the quiet time to process, or it's different whenever you're supposed to be strong, that strong woman. But this strong woman has feelings as well. I cry just like everybody else. I might not do it in front of you because it's not the time or the place. And in some instances, I almost feel like I don't. It's like a sign of weakness to cry in front of, maybe like if somebody hurts my feelings at work, it would be a sign of weakness to cry in front of them. I don't. I will take that home and deal with it at home privately in my quiet time. And so that's kind of, whenever I lose my center, I utilize the quiet time for whatever it is that I need to do. Pout, scream, yell, cry, sing.
But it's good that you don't suppress it. You might have to put it on hold when it shows up at work, but then you still come back to it and you still are present with what the feelings are.
I don't want to suppress it. I suppressed things for 10 years. That's why I wanted to pull everything out every time. I want you to know every time. And I want you to understand. And that's why the words are so important to me, because I want to articulate to you, and I want you to understand what it is that I'm saying at all times. I don't want you to think this. I don't want you to think that. I want you to understand exactly where I'm coming from every single time.
Yeah, so to be seen for who you are is a need that you have, and you really work hard to
popping out of a I'm animated and I talk with my hands.
I love it.
It's hard for me to be like,
Oh, yeah.
my little hands over here like this.
You're fine. You're fine. So we're getting close to the end. It went by really fast.
It did.
So if someone's interested in the LPN to RN program at the U of A, they can just contact the
They
U
can
of A?
contact the University of Arkansas, look on the website, go under nursing, and there's going to be a picture that pops up and a lot of different information that they can utilize to get into that program.
Wonderful. I understand you're being featured as a part of the class.
Yeah, nobody. Yes,
They'll know soon enough.
I am. They'll know soon enough. Yes.
And are you currently doing any radio shows, or is that for future?
I did a Kicks 104 in iHeart 2 weeks ago, and that was good. I did that for Single Parent Scholarship Fund.
Nice.
And so then I'm also getting an award that's coming up on the 18th in April. It's actually up here in Mount Sequoia.
Nice.
It's for Single Parent Scholarship Fund.
Wonderful.
What a great program that is.
It is. And so that's interesting. I love that.
I love that.
And anything that comes my way.
But your own show you don't currently have, like you were doing with
Not
Topher.
yet.
Not yet. But I think she should start it again. Never know what's going to happen with Tinatra.
You never know. I'm telling you. I'm a surprise.
Song will burst, whatever
Yes.
it is. Song will burst through.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks
So we
for
end our
having
show
me.
with a little toast.
All right.
To an edgy,
Joyful,
joyful, and soulful life.
Thanks for listening
And watching.
and watching.